right, so we are live. Hello, everyone. Hey, everyone. Let's wait a few more minutes before everyone is joining us, as always. How are you, Mark?
Oh yeah, I'm good. How about you, Vlad?
All good, all good, all good.
All
All
right.
right, so yeah, let's wait a few more minutes for everyone just to warm up. Let me start presenting my screen.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and maybe let's have people saying hi.
Yeah, typically we have an icebreaker question. So let us know in the chat where you're from, how is your day going, and more importantly, let us know, have you already put up the Christmas tree? And at your home, at your house, how is it going with the Christmas tree? How is the holiday season? Let us know what you think. What about you, Mark? Have you already prepared this or not?
Christmas tree, not yet, but it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. That sounds good. So, so you bought some toys, some things, or yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. The presents are already ready, not like the Christmas tree.
Okay, cool. So let's see what people say in the comments. Okay, so we have people from New York, Valencia. I guess it's France or no, it's country.
Oh, could be friends from Spain. Actually,
In Spain.
both
Sorry
have the
about that. Yeah.
Valencia city. All right,
Cool.
Montreal. So yeah, lots of people from around the world.
Ukraine, Ghana, Paris, Spain. Oh, thanks for clarification, Jose. New York. Let us know about your Christmas tree. How's things going with it? Because personally, I also haven't prepared it yet, so still in progress as well. Yeah, so we have a little bit of delay with YouTube comments, but that's fine. Hey, Victor, yeah, we will have this webinar recorded, no problem. Sorry to see you leaving early, but that's fine. All right.
Yeah, it will be recorded, especially we have some surprise during this webinar, so do bear with us and you'll get access to everything.
Yeah, we have some presents for your Christmas tree, your digital Christmas tree, I think. Both with Mark. So yeah, from France. Okay, Canada. All right. So I think we can get started. Nice to see everyone all around the world as always. So let's get started. Let me start presenting the screen. Start sharing it. Boom. Let's go. So okay, today we will be talking about an interesting topic called intent-based prospecting and cold outreach, which is like a brand new story. It's a new trend, I guess, this year and the next year. So intent-based prospecting will be super important for cold outreach. So we want to dive deep into this topic and explain how to implement in some intent-based prospecting ideas and how you can use this for your cold outreach strategy. Okay, so Mark, want to introduce yourself? Let us know about your background, maybe why you decided to build Captain Data. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So first, glad to be here. That we have so many people from all around the world. So, quick word about me. I've been co-founding Captain Data around 4 years ago. So, basically, spent most of my time helping customers build go-to-market strategies and making sure they can generate a lot of data from the web thanks to Captain Data. So this is what we do. We help them extract data from the web and then send the right messages at the right time to the right prospects. And I guess this is what we're going to be talking about today, right, Vlad?
Exactly. So yeah, cool. Thanks. My name is Vlad. I'm growth leader here at Reply with SDR's background. I spent like probably 6 years, 7 years prospecting, creating different sales sequences, prospecting tips, and intent-based outreach was a part of my daily routine even a few years ago. So yeah, happy to share our insights on this topic. Okay, so here's what we will cover today. We will give you a short intro to intent-based prospecting. We will explain what captain data is. Then we will talk about two intent strategies, intent-based prospecting strategies, people in new position and LinkedIn post likers. And then we will send you lots of useful and bonus content. Yes, we will share the recording, templates, and slides you after the webinar. So before we get started to the topic, here two presents from us. Here at Replied, we are offering a 50% off on any Reply plans paid annually. So hope you will enjoy this present for us. And what about you, Mark?
Yeah, so usually when people come to Captain Data, so they get to speak with us, and we usually have them figure out the go-to-market. And exceptionally, we decided that we'll give them a 1 month trial with 5,000 credits instead of the usual 7 days trial with 1,000 credits that we do. So I think it's a good chance for everyone to be able to explore Captain Data, explore the integration we have with Reply. And it's, I think, going to be great for people to see the whole value of the product.
So yeah, like 5K credits is like awesome. I think just tons of value here. So right, yeah, feel free to scan these QR codes, or we will send you the presentation, the slides, so you can check it out after the presentation. Okay, so let's dive into the topic. First of all, why it matters, why intent data is so important these days. And why it probably will change how we do cold outreach in the next few years. So first of all, outreach is changing, of course. And there are a bunch of things we need to take into account, like attachments, buyer persona, CTAs, link tracking, spam, domain reputation, warm up, like email routing, personalization, right? ICP, formatting, timing, all those things are super important. But people typically think it's all about just cold email template, but that's not true, right? So when it comes to cold emails, typically it looks like this. We know our ICP. Let's say we know company size, we know location of our customers, we know typical industries of our customers, we know ideal buyer profiles like job titles, departments, personas. And then we just download the list of these prospects from, let's say, LinkedIn or data providers. And then we just download those lists, and then we send typical cold emails. Hey, I'm reaching out to you. I notice this and this, and I want to check our solution. And then we will add like a soft CTA, for example, or we will add some PS lines, personalized snippets. But typically, it's just quite generic cold outreach. And the missing piece here is, of course, intent layer. So there are a bunch of different intents that can help us, like, write personalized emails at scale, relying on these different intent signals, which are indicating that a buyer or company or prospect or opportunity are ready to check our solution, our services, or our product. And then we can use this intent data as a reason for outreach, right? There is no need to reach out to every prospect in our list, but we can be laser focused on smaller list and just reach out to prospects who really want to check our solution. And then we can use it in our cold email templates. For example, hey, I'm reaching out to you because I've noticed that you recently joined the company, or you're currently hiring, or you're using, let's say, HubSpot as your CRM. So you can use this as a trigger, right? So that's the future, intent-based prospecting. So there are a bunch of triggers. Here are some typical ones like post likers, department growth, website changes, job changes, technographics, hiring intent, startup outreach, dark funnel. So these are like typical and they are already crystallized in specific categories, and there are already software and tools for identifying those signals at scale. So maybe you want to add something, Mark, here about like what do you think about intent data, triggers, all those things? Yeah,
definitely. So I think you explained it very well. Not only it's a very good way to break the ice, it's also a very good way to know that there is a fit that is more than just a ICP that you usually have with companies. So a company that likes a specific post is going to, or a person that likes a specific post about a specific subject is going to indicate you that they might have an interest in a specific topic. Same for hiring trigger. It's something that we're using a lot at Captain Data. So looking at companies recruiting BDRs, so we can contact decision makers, because of course, if they're recruiting BDRs, they're going to need some leads on the silver platter. And kind of the same with all the ones that you suggested. What we've seen is that it's something that is usually increasing conversion rates a lot, because once again, you're sending something relevant to a person that you know has an interest in the subject or has something happening in the company which make them interested in that subject. But so basically it brings the relevancy a lot. And also it's something that you can scale very easily. And it can be like a continuous trigger for companies hiring, people taking a new position. So for us, it started being very important. It's one of the main key points that we're doing in our outreach, but we see a lot of customers having a lot of success on that.
Sounds good. Yeah, probably the biggest question here, how to scale it, how to like automate it, and how to keep like adding accounts or prospects that match our triggers like constantly to our sequences. So that's great that you mentioned we can scale it, and we can put it on the autopilot, for example, right?
Yeah, it's it's super important, and it's a good way to fuel a continuous pipeline. Experimenting first and then scaling it with the right copy. We'll see that the copy is a very important part of the triggers, because like the right triggers come with the right copy for the right person, and the three needs to be aligned together.
Yeah, I agree. So, and cool. When it comes to tools, there are already, as I mentioned before, there are already a few crystallized categories that currently some SDR teams, salespeople, and growth teams are already using. So basically, we can talk about things like technographics for sure. Then we can talk about job changers, hiring intent, LinkedIn post likers, social listening, dark funnel, and warm interest. So these are already crystallized, and there are a bunch of competitors out there. And it's cool to see that Captain Data can cover some of these categories like all in one, which is good. So you need less tools to cover those signals. And of course, when it comes to intent, it's also important to remember that they may be unique for your specific companies, for your specific use case, for your service, your product, etc. So you need just to figure out some signals. Probably try to find tools. More likely there is something for that. So yeah, so a bunch of tools when it comes to intent-based outreach. All right, so I'm putting mic back to Mark. So Mark, you want to share the screen and explain what Captain Data is and how we can use it for intent-based prospecting?
Yeah, of course. So let me share my screen.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So by the way, before we proceed with the presentation, feel free to ask your questions in the chat, and we will check the comments during the conversation, and we'll answer all your questions.
Yeah, definitely. This needs to be interactive, and thanks for outlining that, Vlad. So let's go back to this presentation. Maybe let me give a very quick intro about Captain Data. So the big thing here that we do with Captain Data are basically three pillars. First is extracting data. So we're going to extract data from most of the platforms that you can see here. Second one is enriching this data. So with different third-party tools that you may know, like Drop Contact, Atagma, Hunter, Apollo, so to find all those emails that are going to allow you to reach out to people. And then the third aspect is to actually push this data directly through platforms like reply.io. So as you can see, you can browse through those templates and you'll find ready-made templates that allows you to go from extracting data, enriching it, and directly pushing it to the campaign of your choice. So it's definitely the right thing if you want to fuel a pipeline and lead generation strategy, and to actually put it on autopilot. So usually people like two things. First one is to experiment very fast, rather than taking a lot of time to launch something. And the second one is to be able to scale that experiment and make sure that it will bring continuously new leads into the sales pipeline. So there's definitely a lot of other features attached to that, but I'll probably be able to deep dive more as we go. So the next thing that we want to talk to you about today is one of the several intents that you can implement using Captain Data and reply.io all together are people in new position. So the big metric that we see here is usually when someone starts a new position within a company, whether it's a promotion or whether it's joining a new company, they usually have a budget attached to launching new initiatives. And this budget is usually spent within the first 9 months of the person joining the position or joining the company. And this is why this intent for a specific buyer persona that would be relevant to you is super interesting, because you know it's probably the right time for the person to bring in new initiatives within the company where they joined or where they have been promoted. Do you have a few things to add on this one, Vlad, or anything I forget about the people in your position?
You're doing good. I would say the only thing here that this is probably one of my favorite like intent signals, people in new position, and hiring signal. Both of them are like really good ones. So I give a try to this strategy, and typically it helps us generate almost 2x more replies in comparison to our like typical non-personalized cold outreach sequence. So it really works better for us. But yeah,
I do agree, especially. Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
Vlad, go ahead.
and the best thing here, it's like really easy to like scale it, because we always have a feed of new contacts who change their jobs, their companies, etc.
Yeah, I do agree, and especially in a world where everybody gets swamped with email, this definitely puts the game in another level and make sure that your email is going to stand out of all the emails that people are receiving. And as Vlad was saying just before, it's very easy to scale once you figure out the right copy to do so. So we're going to show you how you can do that and how you can scale it right after. And it's going to be super simple. So it goes within 2 steps. The first step is actually going to Sales Navigator, and you have this filter here that says change job recently. So I'm actually going to go straight in Captain Data and try to show it to you in a very simple way. So the first thing here that we do is basically to get a Sales Navigator search. So this search is going to look like this one. You have a few criteria: company headcounts, location, a very nice Boolean expression that is going to describe the ICP that you're looking for. And then you have these small tips here that say change job recently. So you might see it on a different variation depending on the version that you have on Sales Navigator. Basically, activating this is going to show you all the people that have changed jobs in the past 3 months. So we can see that the people from the list here all took position within the last 2 months, 2 months, 3 months, 1 month, and it's actually a very good way to know it's the right timing, right? The second thing that we're going to do based on this search is to choose a LinkedIn account. So here, Vlad ran this with his own LinkedIn account that is synchronized to Captain Data. We're going to specify how many leads we want to extract from the search, and you're going to see this is the beauty of it. You can extract them little by little or in a big chunk and put it on autopilot. Then we're going to get a lot of data, so visiting the profile, extracting company data, aggregating everything, and going through this waterfall module where you can actually use several different accounts from several providers that we're going to orchestrate so that if the tagmat does not find the email, then drop contact will find it. If drop contact does not find it, Hunter will find it. So it's a very good way to increase the coverage that you have in the emails that you're going to find. It's a basic waterfall enrichment. And afterwards, we're going to send that directly to reply.io. And this is where the scaling part becomes beautiful, is you can automatically add it to a campaign with a copy that is preset for the specific intents. So you just have to add the campaign ID and do a quick mapping here between the fields that Captain Data is going to bring to you and the fields that reply is going to expect. And then this is where you're going to be able to put it onto autopilot because you can launch it once, but you can also repeat it on the frequency that you want. So if we go back in here and look at the result that we had, basically we're able to extract 9 beautiful profiles with all the information extracted from LinkedIn. And all of this was directly pushed within a reply campaign. Maybe Vlad, you'll have a bit of time to show how this was populating right after. And as you can see, we have a diversity of field that we can use. So how many funds did the company raised, company name, number of employees, phone, specialties of the company, basically anything that you can see on LinkedIn and Sales Navigator is going to be extracted and directly push to the campaign so you can personalize that scale. The beautiful thing here is that you can schedule it to repeat in a way that every day you will send 10, 20, 30, 50 new people and really new people to this campaign. So it really goes over time. And whenever new people are going to change position, they're going to be enrolled in this list, extracted, and directly pushed to the campaign. This way you're not missing out on anyone. And once the workflow is finished, I mean, nothing else to do. Reply is going to take care of sending the sequence that you've decided, engage those people, get the replies, chit chat with them, generate some pipelines, and move them down the sales funnel. So maybe people have questions about what I just saw. So I'm going to very quickly go here. And
yeah,
I don't know,
so,
Vlad, if you prefer to take
yeah.
a quick break right now or to answer the questions at the end.
Yeah, let's check questions. And first one is, can we use Captain Data automations like we use Phantom Blaster? I guess yes. So it's probably similar.
So it's a good question. Basically, the whole thing about Captain Data is that you're going to have preset templates to do pretty much anything. So this is a very concrete example. We have lots of automations. The big difference you're going to see is that it's really suited for teams. So as we can see in this section, you can synchronize lots of different accounts from different providers. And the beauty is that you're going to be able to handle it for a whole team. So we do see companies that have a team of 10 salespeople, 1 person in growth or operation that is going to, or marketing ops that is going to manage all the accounts, centralize them within Captain Data, and launch the campaigns for all those people within one place. So this is the big difference that you're going to see here with other platforms around here, plus the fact that, once again, it's super fast.
Cool. So I would like to know what you think of Apollo's intent data. So quick answer here. So when we jumped into this topic, it's important to say that intent data, it's like, it's more broad, like definition of what we're talking about. It's not in Apollo's like product. It's just one type of intent, like signals, different signals. It's just like you can reach out to companies that are currently researching a specific topic. Like, let's say they're typing the employees of specific company type something like CRM, and you can identify this intent signal. So when we talk about intent, prospecting, cold outreach, there's hundreds of different signals, and that type of intent is just only one, and probably not the best one. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's one aspect, and the other aspect is also the freshness of the intent. So the big difference between using databases where a lot of intents are going to be stacked up compared to actually getting the data in a fresh way. So getting the people attending to an event, the people who are following your page, the people who are recruiting a specific profile, is that the intent is much fresher. So when you're sending the message afterwards, you know it's the right time and it's a topic of the moment for the person that you're going to reach out to. So the whole idea of freshness is super important with self triggers, because if you're sending a message for someone that searched for a topic 3 months ago, well, of course, you probably missed out the window. But if you're sending a message to a company that is recruiting right now, or someone who just changed position, then you're definitely getting a better momentum and a bigger chance also to get a reply to your email.
Good answer. Yeah, freshness of intent data is super important. I agree. And we have probably one quick question here about waterfall. Does waterfall enrichment check for verified emails?
So yeah, so that's one other topic that is going to be super important. So when you enrich in waterfall, different providers are not going to have the same methodology. Some of them are going to verify the emails, some of them are not going to verify it. And this is why we chose to integrate not only with email finders, but also email verification services like Never Bounce, Zero Bounce, or Bouncer that are going to double validate the email and make sure that whatever you send to reply.io are going to be emails that do not bounce.
Awesome. And we already have a question about Captain Data credits for automation. Yes, we do have it. Just when we send you the presentation, check slide number 3. You'll have a bunch of credits for your automation. All right, so let me share the screen, and then we'll proceed with the presentation. So as you can see here, we can automate all these like data gathering, list building, data enrichment part in Captain Data. And then when you have the list of this prospect, you need to automate like your sequences, your cold outreach, right? So instead of building lists in your CSV file or your spreadsheet, you can just automatically push your prospects to your sequences. So that's why you can just go to Captain Data and then connect reply, just specify, configure integration, connect your reply accounts, and configure parameters like campaign IDs and map all fields you have. Then you can connect way more fields based on data enrichment on Captain Data side. And then we can just push these contacts directly to your sequences in reply. So we have already prepared this workflow for you. And here's an example. As you can see, contacts already added to my reply sequence. Then we could just create some cold emails, including follow-ups, and boom, the whole process is fully automated. Here are a few examples of email templates you can use for this specific playbook for contacts in a new role, new position. Here are a few examples. As we said before, you can use this intent data as a reason for outreach, right? So that's how you indicate why you are reaching out to them, right? What's the point for your cold email? So, for example, here I'm reaching out to you because I noticed on your LinkedIn page that you have taken a new position at the company a few weeks ago. So I think reply might be relevant for you. So as Mark said, when they join new companies, they have budget, and probably they want to impress their bosses, their managers, their company, right? So they will spend budgets on new tools, on new products, new services, etc. Here's another example. Hey, I saw you take a new position at company. Congrats. I'm guessing you're already thinking about a new tech stack for your team. Want to check our product. So here are two examples, and then we can add a bunch of follow-ups, all focused on this specific signal, right? So you can keep using this in your follow-ups. All right. So do you still have any questions about new hirings intent? If yes, let us know in the comments. We will check it. And now let's talk about intent signal number 2. It's LinkedIn post likers. I also enjoy this one, but you need to be careful here not to overuse some creators' posts or not to overuse reaching out to the same contacts. So it's super, this one might be a little bit tricky, but it also works pretty good. Here's how it works. Imagine that you follow some LinkedIn creators, LinkedIn influencers, like accounts with lots of followers, right, on LinkedIn. And typically they post content every day, every now and then, right? And when they post something viral, which a post that can get like hundreds of likes, hundreds of comments, thousands of impressions, right? So you can find those posts on LinkedIn relevant to your specific topic, to your product. For example, in my case, we add reply, sell reply. So we might follow like sales influencers, and when they create something viral, for example, like including this post, hey, top 5 keys to a good outbound sequence, and this post got lots of impressions, lots of likes, and what we can do here, we can extract those likes and add those contacts to our sequence, because when they like something, probably they have a pain about this problem, about this issue, and probably they want to fix this problem. They want to solve this problem, right? So that's how you can reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed you engaged with like Vlad's post on how to use no-code prospecting. Allows this post. By the way, we are building a tool that can help you with no-code prospecting. Want to check it out or something like that, right? So, so here's a backstory about these behind these post likers, commenters, intent signal. And again, this strategy can help you get way more replies than an average outbound sequence. So, Mark, want to show how to automate this process?
Yeah, of course. So in sharing here, so it's a fairly simple process to automate. So what I did here is actually I tried to focus on the latest post that Vlad did. So the first thing I did is I used an automation called extract LinkedIn people post activity. That allowed me to extract the 10 last posts from Vlad. So I extract them simply by inputting his LinkedIn profile URL. And then I've added them in this spreadsheet here so I can filter out the one that had the most impression. So I focused on those 3 posts that are pretty recent and that had a good amount of impression, of reaction, of likes that I could leverage. Then I've used those 3 posts to launch another automation that is going to go within each of the posts, extract the people who liked, get their profile, company data, aggregate everything together, waterfall enrich them with the different emails provider that we had, and then push them directly to a reply campaign. And as you can see, what is going to be beautiful here is that if a contact already exists in a campaign, the reply is going to know it. So we won't have to add them again. And this allows you to make sure to deduplicate the different things that you're going to do. So how do we configure this? It's fairly simple. The first step is to add the different inputs. So as you can see, it's exactly the content that I have in my spreadsheet. I just downloaded it as a CSV and pushed it in the inputs. Choose an account, choose a parameter, so the maximum number of results per post. So in this example, I've stopped at 25 results per post, but you can extract up to 3,000 likers from a single post. Then I extracted the profile of the person, company data, waterfall enrichment once again, and I've added the leads reply with all the data that I mapped in here. So very simple strategy to go from content that you know people liked, and in a matter of seconds, directly push it with a reply campaign that is preset about a specific topic.
Sounds good. And let's proceed with the presentation. All right, so we have no slide there about these 2 strategies. And great thing here, so the interesting story here is that you can actually combine 2 strategies here. So you can start creating content, start like you can become like a B2B creator, whatever you call it, start creating really engaging content. People will like this comment. So you can create content around a problem your company, your product solves, right? And then you can just use all these post likers for your own cold outreach. But be like careful here. Don't like cannibalize your audience. Don't do it too often, because that's how they will see that you just selling them something. So be careful here. But again, you can use a strategy now and then, and again, this one works pretty well. Maybe Mark have some, I don't know, maybe some numbers, some feedback on these strategies, like stats on how it works, how the strategies perform.
Yeah, very good question. So as you say, usually the good thing here is to either focus on one specific influencer, like I did with Vlad, because I know that the people who are going to like your posts are going to like post about one specific topic that you like to speak about, or rather to shortlist the post. And this is why it's pretty important to add them usually in a spreadsheet to basically look at the contents and know what you're going to speak about. One thing that works pretty well in terms of personalization with posts is actually AI, because if you can prompt in a way that you specify what you're sending and you manage to link what you're sending to the post, then it starts being very impactful. And what we see are basically reply rates ranging from 10 to 25% with those type of campaign. And you know what? You know the copy is good usually not only when you get positive reply, but also when you get negative reply, but the people say, okay, I'm not interested, but your email was pretty damn good. And this is where you know that you actually did a good job with the copy, and knowing that people interacted with specific contents is going to help you a lot in the copy work that you're going to do afterwards.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks. All right, so let's proceed with the presentation, and we have a few more slides here. Again, now, by the way, feel free to ask your questions in the chat, so we will answer your questions. We still have a few more minutes here. Just ask whatever you want about like intent-based prospecting, captain data reply, signals, performance of these campaigns. Yep, that will be awesome. And before that, here are a few insanely useful pieces of content, of bonus content. Number one, we have prepared a list of additional, like 31 more trigger-based outreach ideas for you. There's a link to the Airtable, and you can find a bunch of different intent trigger-based ideas for your company. Probably maybe these two doesn't work for your workflows, but there are hundreds of them, dozens of them. So yeah, feel free to check them. And again, we also prepared the list of cold email templates and sequences that can help you to implement these intent-based tactics. So you can find here all templates we shared today. So you can just copy and paste them, add to your cold outreach sequence, and boom, you can get started with these automations right away. So let's check the chat, and let's see. Okay, so Philip have a question. Do you need to have API access to ZoomInfo to integrate your capture data so you can do this? Do you integrate with ZoomInfo?
Yeah, so we do integrate with ZoomInfo. So it depends on the providers. Some of the providers, we have been able to package them directly in Captain Data, so you don't need an account with them, and you can just use your Captain Data subscription to benefit from their data. Some of them, like ZoomInfo, you do require to have your own API key to synchronize to Captain Data to be able to use them. So that really depends. If people are interested, I'm happy to send a list afterwards so you can know which one you can use natively and which one you need an API key with.
Awesome. So Artem asks, what solutions can you recommend for a recruitment agency? Like, do you mean like triggers, or what do you mean by solutions? Products, tools? Just specify, please.
I actually have a pretty good idea for that because I do see a lot of recruitment agencies having success with the job boards triggers. So basically, since you're like sending candidates, you want to contact decision makers when it's the right time for them to recruit. So one of the process we've built with recruitment agencies is actually identifying the companies that are recruiting a specific profile, so they can reach out to the decision makers in those companies saying, hey, I see you're recruiting a blah, blah, blah. That's a good thing because we're actually specialized in recruiting this specific type of profile. Worth having a conversation. And what we see is a huge increase into their outbound processes. When I'm saying huge increase, I'm speaking 5x increase. We actually do have a very nice customer story about that I'm going to link in a few seconds in the chat so people can actually look at it, and it's pretty impactful, I think.
Sounds good. So yeah, with recruitment agency, I agree that hiring intent is gonna help. Neil, yep, we just sent the link to the presentation so you can check it out right away. So yeah, let's wait a few more minutes. Maybe we have some more questions, additional questions. Florent, of course, you can use other cold outreach tools with Captain Data for sure. Okay, so we're sending Mark's link for that recruitment use case. All right.
Oh yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, we sent it. Okay, so if there are no questions, I have a few more slides for you. As always, let's stay in touch. Here are a few QR codes for you to connect with us. Happy to hear your thoughts on intent-based outreach. So Mark few words on your end.
Yeah. So first, thanks, Vlad, for this session with you. Always nice to spend some time together explaining how we can help people out. Feel free to connect on LinkedIn if I can help you figure out the right intents for you, especially if you are a reply.io user. I'm sure that we can do very beautiful things to help you boost your campaigns. And keep in mind the small gifts from both our teams. So we'll send the slides afterwards, but you do have some QR codes here to get access to an amazing discount with Reply, and also have a 1 month access with a lot of credits in Captain Data, so you can actually see the value of the two platforms working together. And I can assure you it's packed with a lot of value.
Yeah, cool. So it was nice to connect with you, Mark. Super happy to have this conversation in data. Again, I highly recommend to connect with Captain Data team on LinkedIn and follow their blog. They are sharing like really insightful and tactical like things, ideas on how to implement intent-based prospecting. So yeah, feel free to do that. And as always, thank you for your time today. And yeah, so you probably need some time to put up your Christmas there. So enjoy your evening, your day, your morning, and see you soon, I guess.
Yeah, see you all soon. And make sure to mention if you like the content that we did today, because it might encourage us to do other sessions like this one. And I'm sure we'll all have a very good time doing so.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Cheers.